Hello, welcome to DG360. I am sick. Apologies. Bear with me. I grow a mustache every October. It's part of what I do now. I don't know why. We just thought it would be funny. Last October, I spray painted it orange and nearly killed myself as I breathed in the toxic chemicals, but I did it for the love of my fans, you see. This year, okay, I skipped that part, but I did grow the stash. And I'm trying to grow it to Sam Elliott proportions. But what ended up happening as I tried to grow the stash is that it overtook myself. In fact, I'm not even speaking right now. This is the mustache. Hi. DG is no longer with you. I will dominate his face, and then I will dominate the world. And I'm just starting with him. And soon, my world domination will be complete. No, stop it. Stop it. Oh, I have to get the mustache out. The mustache is taking over. It is cursed. Okay, you understand? The mustache, it is cursed. And the next stream, you're not going to see it anymore. Okay? But we do want to see, hey, why did men stop wearing mustaches? Like, what was it that stopped making the mustache so goddamn cool? The mustache, in my opinion, never stopped being cool. Magnum PI, okay, Tom Selleck, rock the mustache. Sam Elliott, rocking the mustache, okay? Mustaches are sexy. But I will be shaving mine because this is cursed. Long story. But let's see.
So in 1918, there was a lot going on in the world. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the Great War ended. The H1N1 virus, known as the Spanish flu, ravaged the world and in particular targeted young people. President Wilson released his 14 points. The Boston Red Sox defeated the Chicago Cubs to win the World Series. U.S. unemployment was at 1.4% and a stamp cost 3 cents. And buried under all that, a lesser known but important fact to us men of culture, statistically, we were at peak mustache. Seriously, gents, with 73% of grown men wearing some type of facial hair, 66% chose to wear a mustache. Now, I say chose loosely because there were regulations going on that outlawed beards in certain situations, but if we look back, we can see that there were also trends, mustache crazes going on back in 1899, or 65% of men chose to wear a mustache of the 88% of the total population that sported facial hair. And on a side note, you can see we had peak facial hair in general in 1887.
I don't understand that. Does anybody understand that? Like, this is the one I never really got. The where you get the tendrils coming off. In fact, I think this is where Admiral Akbar came from. I think that like this whole look, I never really I don't understand this one, you know? I don't get this one, you know?
96% of men wore facial hair on a daily basis. So based off those numbers, what happened?
This guy's a traitor. I mean, this guy should at least have a mustache for this video. How many people agree? You know, like when you have a video entitled Why Men Stop Wearing Mustaches, you're going to do a documentary about mustaches. You should at least have a fucking mustache when you do it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Don't come to me talking about mustaches and why people stop wearing mustaches when you and yourself just don't have a mustache, right? So you're going on the other side of the argument. You're going on the other side and you're agreeing why men should stop wearing mustaches. You, in fact, sir, are not a man. You are a traitor.
Century later, we've got less than 30% of men wearing facial hair, and of that, only 2% wearing mustaches. Why did men stop wearing it? So to start things off, let's talk about the history of the mustache. But to do that, we need to first talk about the history of facial hair. Now, since the beginning, men have been growing facial hair. But it wasn't until about 10,000 years ago that we have archaeological evidence that men were actually starting to style their facial hair. Seriously, they were using clams, shells, and rocks to cut and to shape and to pluck facial hair into certain configurations. Later, with the invention of bronze.
Yeah, and like women generally do not like facial hair, generally speaking, because of many different reasons. One, perhaps they don't think it looks attractive aesthetically. Take it from me. This is advice. This is advice here. Two, it's prickly or it hurts them when you kiss them, or, you know, like it's not nice with their skin. But there is a group of women that really do love facial hair, and they're freaks, and God bless them. We love you. You know you have to. You know you're out there and you're dirty. You're dirty.
Metals and crude razors, the Egyptians and other cultures took it to a whole other
God
level,
bless you.
especially
Now I
for
know why you're
religious
married,
reasons.
Rebo.
They wanted to have a certain type of look. And let's just say that some of these guys really cared about their facial hair. In fact, in the 14th century, we find knights, their armor was actually made in a way to accommodate their, yes, beautiful facial hair. Seriously, Edward, the Prince of Wales, on his tomb in Canterbury Cathedral, it shows the prince in full battle dress with chainmail encasing his face and neck, but allowing his long whisker.
Dude, that is my mustache right there. Who is this dude? Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Who is this guy?
Canterbury Cathedral, it shows the prince in full battle.
The prince? What's his name? What's this dude's name?
Was actually made in a way to accommodate their, yes, beautiful facial hair. Seriously, Edward, the Prince of Wales, on his
Dude, I have Edward, the Prince of Wales mustache.
Home in Canterbury Cathedral, it shows the prince in full battle dress with chainmail encasing his face and neck, but allowing his...
I have what's called the Edward, the Prince of Wales mustache.
Long whiskers to flow over the top. But it was really the Elizabethan era and King James I, when he came to...
Nobody likes that pussy mustache.
The British throne, he was so proud of his dapper mustache that he had basically tons of art made with this. His son, King Charles I, would go on to make the goatee and the handlebar mustache iconic. You got to understand that these rulers at the time were setting the fashion trends. If you wanted to be hip, if you wanted to be in, then you copied what these guys were doing. And that's why Sir Anthony Van Dyke and his...
This guy's way ahead of his times. He looks like somebody out of Nirvana. This guy I went to high school with.
Portraits that were passed around and the fashion trends that ensued. Everybody wanted to have a Van Dyke facial hairstyle. Unless you didn't. Unless you wanted to push back. Unless you wanted to be a little bit of a revolutionary like Oliver Cromwell. And we look at his very frugal mustache that he sported. And even after revolutions, the mustache continued to be a symbol of power. King Charles II, he ruled with a mustache from 1660 to 1685. And what's funny is you look at some of these portraits of him. And
I don't know about the pencil mustache. The pencil mustache freaks me out a little bit.
His early teens, notice he's still got that big burly mustache. Yeah, somebody here was brown nosing. Now, gentlemen, if you enjoy videos like this, do me a favor and smash the like.
Now, see, no.
Button. Seriously, you want me to grow a mustache? I got to see a whole lot of likes here. Now, really quick, pop quiz. Let's see if you can identify the man behind...
Don't proselytize the stash. Don't proselytize the stash. You just do it because you're a man. You grow the stash because you're a man. Did I say, oh, I'm going to grow a stash if I get enough likes? Huh? Let's just explain the difference between this gentleman and myself here, right? This man's a little bit more gentle of a man. I'm a little bit more rough of a man. You understand? I don't want to take the time to ask my audience and to say, hey, would you please vote on my stash and I'll grow one for you? No, I will just grow it. I will grow it and I will show it. That doesn't sound right.
The mustache. So this first mustache right here, pretty easy, but yeah, I mean, who do you think this is? Guys, it is Charlie Chaplin, not Adolf Hitler. I know some of you guys thought, but here's the thing is that both of them sported this mustache. Charlie Chaplin had it first. Adolf Hitler later on picked this up. And this was actually a pretty popular mustache at the time. But because of the association with Hitler, this is something, unless you're Michael Jordan, you're not going to be rocking. Next up, this one right here.
Listen, shame on Hitler for ruining that stash. We're shaming Hitler. We're shaming Hitler right now. Shame him. Shame him. For literally taking his stash style away from us.
Shame.
That's a terrible thing that he took that stash style away from us.
A little bit more artistic, especially if you like, you like clocks that are melting all over the place. Who is this right here?
And
Salvador
many other things, by the way.
Now this one we're going back a little bit farther, but very distinctive. Civil War. Anybody guess this one? Okay,
that one I
right
don't
here,
get.
Ambrose Burnside. Now this one right here, if you were an outlaw.
That's the Lemmy. Yeah, that's the Lemmy. That is the Lemmy. Exactly. That is, I'm giving that applause there. That is the Lemmy. I don't understand it, but I respect it. Don't understand it, but I respect it. Lemmy.
And you're in Kansas or maybe Tombstone, Arizona, you see this mustache coming at you, you basically drop your weapons and you just surrender because, anyone know? Wyatt Earp. Now, what about this mustache right here? This guy works in what? Parks and Recreation. He's got a pretty cute but weird secretary. And yeah, he does not want to be bothered with anything. That is Ronald Ulysses Swanson. So now let's start to talk about the fall of the mustache and facial hair in general. So we saw at the end of the 19th century a stronger association of what caused infections. Germs, all of a sudden, Pasteur and everything that we're seeing. We are aware that you've got...
People, we had upwards of 30 people here, but they got tired of the stash, you see? Like the ones that stick around, man, they are fans of the stash, but the stash really does not translate to a large center of the population. Like really, stashes do not speak to a lot of people. And that's a shame. That's a shame.
To maintain cleanliness, and beards were seen as unclean. Seriously, in New York, 1902, milkmen all of a sudden have to get rid of their whiskers and be clean shaven. Notice I didn't say completely shaven. I said clean shaven. King Gillette, 1904, all of a sudden starts making these razors more available. And we see hospitals throughout the UK basically tell their doctors, workers, everyone needs to be clean shaven for the patients. Men are creatures of habit. They did not want to give up their facial hair. And in 1910, we still saw almost 75% of men sporting beards, mustaches, and the like. That being said, new habits can be formed, especially when you join the military. 1914, the Great War starts. And all of a sudden, we have gas being used. So gas masks are issued. And guess what? If you've got a beard, you cannot get a great seal with a good gas mask. And most of the gas masks were not that great. So you wanted to make sure that you were shaven so that you could get some protection from that mustard gas or whatever it may be. And guys, it was something that regulations came down. Hey, you got to be completely shaven. Now, officers and certain levels of enlisted men were actually allowed to maintain, guess what? A mustache, well trimmed within regs. And all of a sudden we saw the rise of the mustache. And this is when we had peak mustache, because you could actually still have something that was masculine, something manly, that facial hair, but you just couldn't have the beard. Now, after the Great War, going through the 1920s, 1930s, this is when we saw the mustache come in its own. All of a sudden, you have all these men returning with these new habits, and guess what? They love that mustache. And for that 20 to 30 years, we saw the mustache just simply become one of the more dominant pieces. And that's why when we look at movies throughout that time period, pictures, any type of media, we see men in a variety of different mustaches.
I never even thought
Pencil
about
thin
that.
mustache, thicker mustaches, but mustaches are all over the place. And the loser here was the beard. Yes, the beard started to make a comeback in the 1920s, but it faltered off, and all of a sudden you saw fashion trends. You saw the rise of Hollywood. You saw all these actors, all of these people that we're looking up to are wearing mustaches, not beards. And all of a sudden that became the fashion trend. Something that not only the younger guys were doing, but some of the older guys were trying as well. All that being said, facial hair in general continued to decline with the proliferation of the safety razor, a huge improvement from the straight razor, which is beautiful but can be dangerous, especially in a guy that doesn't know how to use it. All of a sudden, shaving was easy, and we continued to see not only the mustache decline, but the beard and deft sideburns completely disappeared as a style. And World War II didn't help any. Again, the regulations kicked in. Different services had different regulations, but usually when you're going through boot camp, guess what? No facial hair at all. And again, men are creatures of habit, and we can develop new habits, especially when you've got a drill instructor yelling at you. And all of a sudden, you know what? You go 3 to 4 years shaving every single day or when you can, and all of a sudden you get used to it. This becomes your new look. You get out of the military in the 1940s, 1950s. All of a sudden, it is the decade, the years of conforming to the fashion, to the times. And this takes us to the 1948 election, very close between Dewey and Truman. Right here, you've got pictures of the two candidates, and guess what? It was Dewey's mustache, according to some researchers, why a number of women did not vote for him, possibly men. But the reason being is that many women felt that this was a guy that was stuck in tradition. He was not going to be sensitive.
Yep. They didn't like that hair. They didn't want to see any masculinity. They didn't want to see any masculinity. They didn't want to see it.
To women's issues. And that takes me to the next reason, which I know will be somewhat controversial. Vote him away
because of his facial hair. Just vote him right away. Just discriminate the man for his facial hair. We see what you did, women. We see what you did there. We're not letting you off the hook for that. We all love Dewey. We all love Dewey.
is because of the demands of women. And this is something that's interesting because you read any of the cosmopolitans, any of the books, even today, they talk about, can a man look good, sexy in a mustache? And a lot of women are all over the place on this. If you listen to them, you are in trouble because they're going to say, yeah, a guy can pull it off if he does the right look. Otherwise, it is horrible. Now, that type of research I wouldn't listen to, but they do have a point that Howard Taft was the last president elected that had a mustache. No president since then has had a mustache because research does show that women feel a guy with facial hair, he may come off as more masculine, but guess what?
Wait. Let's check that out. Okay, over the span of, I wish, can we rewind a little bit more here? We are here. Let's really look at this for a second. Okay, so let's count them up here. This guy would count as one with mutton chops. Abe. Who can forget Abe? There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's see. Oh, wow. Yeah. And then everybody else is clean shaven, for God's sake.
Research does show that women feel a guy.
Okay. That's crazy. That's actually quite crazy. After Taft, there's nobody with facial hair after Taft. And that's the 27th president of the United States. Holy shnikes. That's crazy. 19 presidents in a row with no facial hair. Hold on a second. I'm shaming America right now. I'm shaming America. No, I'm shaming them. Shaming them.
Shame.
There is a shame here that's just needs to be put out there. Are you kidding me? 19 presidents in a row with no facial hair. Huh?
Shame. Shame.
What's going on here? I say I'm gonna run for president. I'm gonna look just like this. I'm running for president. DG president. 47th president of the United States. DG motherfucking Jones. All right, this guy's annoying me. Is there any other type of value in this video right now, Erad, or can I switch back to the morning show? Because I'm starting to get tilted by this guy.
Guy with facial hair, he may come off as more masculine. Obviously, guess what? Right, he also seems less attuned to their issues. So it's safe to say politicians took note. And when you got the guys at the top not wearing beards, not sporting mustaches, all of a sudden, guess what? We start thinking, we see the fashion trends, you see everyone else stop sporting mustaches and beards. Now, of course, there are guys that buck the trend. 1980, you got Freddie Mercury sporting his mustache and everyone's complaining. There were all of these women saying, oh, I hate the look. I mean, jokes on them, right? And Freddie Mercury. But point being is that he's like, I don't care. I'm wearing this for myself. In fact, in a concert, he asked people what they thought. He got, some jeers. He got some, yells. And he's like, I don't give a damn what you think. I'm going to wear it for me. You've also got Anthony Kiedis, the frontman for Red Hot Chili Peppers. Did I pronounce his name correctly? Right. If I messed it up, let me know in the comments. I love that band. But in 2011...
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. This guy. Erad, should we watch any more of this? Because, this guy's really... It's just, I'm getting tilted. I'm sick, and I don't have a lot of capacity to handle any more of this. Unless there's something here. He will talk about my stash. I feel like he already did. I feel like wait, hold on. I'm seeing what you're talking about here. Hold on a second. Is he wearing different stashes?
Well, I don't know for why. Right here, we've got the pencil. Well, actually, maybe we do know why. The author of 1,000 Mustaches.
No, I need to see where my stash is at. Where is my stash at? Where is it at? When is this man who tilts me going to talk about the stash that I have that is my stash on my face? Where exactly is my stash? Oh, and then of course, look. Is he shilling? Is he shilling right here? I feel like there was some shill right there. 10:05. Thank you. 10:05. Thank you, because I can't handle this guy much longer.
To get rid of it. And he's like, he just thinks of it as a joke. He's going to do what he wants to do. And this takes me to the next reason why facial hair and the mustache in particular has become almost extinct. And that's because it seems like society villainizes the wearing of it. Seriously, the words porn stash and even worse, pedo stash, all that implies that you're some type of sexual deviant if you're wearing a mustache.
Thanks.
In fact, those two words right there are going to be more familiar
what you
with
wanted
people
to get to.
than the
All
actual
right.
proper names of
All
mustaches.
right.
Seriously, pop
All
quiz right
right.
here. What is this particular style of mustache? Do you know? This is called the chevron. All right, so I'm going to throw you guys an easy one. You've got to know this one. Come on, look at, this one is the handlebar.
Okay,
and this one right
we go.
here, I
This is a
mentioned
little bit more
earlier,
fun.
not as popular nowadays, actually seen as evil. I don't know.
Okay. All right. I got to get back. This is getting ridiculous. This is getting goddamn ridiculous.